All praises to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and peace to everyone joining me on this program. This is the Fountain of Israel's Bible Studies program, and as always, it's an honor for me to stand before you on the Lord's holy Sabbath day. Now, without any further ado, the title of this lesson is The Thoughts of the Mind, Part 2. Thoughts of the Mind, Part 2. And of course, before we get started, let me just thank everyone who support the ministry. I appreciate that. And another way you can support, besides checking the description box below, you can also support by sharing, subscribing, and telling a friend to tell a friend. I appreciate all of you guys' support. Let's get in that algorithm. Let's get this thing going, okay? So let's go ahead and get started with our lesson, which is the thoughts of the mind, and this is part 2, and I'll be reading from the King James. So thank you guys, and Shabbat Shalom to each and every one of you for allowing me to come into your home and to teach you what thus says Yah. So with that, we're going to go ahead. We left off in Judges the last time. So what we're going to do is we're going to start back in 1 Samuel, if you will. We're going to start back in 1 Samuel. We're talking about all the different, we looked at a few different scenarios, and I was just asking you or posing the question, hey, what was on this person's mind? What was on that person's mind? What was in this person's thoughts? What was in that person's thoughts, right? Kind of give us an idea. It's a very, very tough battlefield. That first battlefield that we all have to face is right here in our mind. So I'm going to go to 1 Samuel, and I'm in chapter 18, and then I'm going to start at verse 10. We're going to read 10 and 12. I'm at chapter 18. And 10 said, and it came to pass on the morrow that the evil spirit from God came upon Saul, and he prophesied in the midst of the house. And David played with his hand as at other times, and there was a javelin in Saul's hand. And Saul cast a javelin, for he said, I will smite David even to the wall with it. And David avoided out of his presence twice. So David kind of duck dodge, got out of there, right? Okay. And then 12, and Saul was afraid of David because the Lord was with him and was departed from Saul. Okay, so the Lord was no longer with Saul. So Saul had these wicked, wicked thoughts. But we're going to drop to 17. 17 says this, and Saul said to David, behold, my elder daughter, Merab, her will I give thee to wife. Only be thou valiant for me and fight the Lord's battles. For Saul said, let not mine hand be upon him, but let the hand of the Philistines be upon him. And David said to Saul, who am I, and what is my life, or my father's family in Israel, that I should be son-in-law to the king? But it came to pass at the time when Merab, Saul's daughter, should have been given to David, that she was given unto Adriel the Meholathite to wife. And Michal, Saul's daughter, loved David, and they told Saul, and the thing pleased him. So it's like, okay, cool, all right. And Saul said, I will give him her, that she may be a snare to him, and that the hand of the Philistines may be against him. Wherefore Saul said to David, thou shalt this day be my son-in-law in the one of the twain, right? So obviously Saul is devising a scheme, which is why, the Most High is with David, right? Saul is devising a scheme. He wants to get really David killed, okay? I was going to say he wanted to get caught up, but he really wanted David dead, right? Because the Most High favored David, and the Most High's favor left Saul. And Saul knew it. He felt it. So he knew. All right, and then 22, it said, and Saul commanded his servants, saying, commune with David secretly, and say, behold, the king has delight in thee, and all his servants love thee. Now, therefore, be the king's son-in-law, right? So they're trying to convince him, right? And Saul's servants spake those words in the ears of David, and David said, seemeth it to you a light thing to be a king's son-in-law, seeing that I am a poor man and lightly esteemed? You're like, man, I'm nobody. I mean, how am I gonna be the king's son-in-law? I'm not worthy of this position, So I don't know about all that. And the servants of Saul told him, saying, on this matter spake David. And 25, and Saul said, thus shall ye say to David, the king desireth not any dowry, but 100 foreskins of the Philistines to be avenged of the king's enemies. But Saul thought to make David fall by the hand of the Philistines. And when his servants told David these words, it pleased David well to be the king's son-in-law, and the days were not expired. Okay, so now David's like, first he felt like he was unworthy, right? But to do that, the foreskins of the Philistine, that was kind of a token of his worthiness, right? So he's like, yeah, I could do that, because now he's earning it, basically. He's like, I'm a poor man, lightly esteemed. I'm not a big deal dude. I'm not that dude. I don't know, to have such a high honor, all of a sudden, boom, I'm the king's son-in-law. That doesn't seem right. So when they proposed this, it seemed like, oh, okay, I can work for it. Okay, that's cool. And this is how he's going to get Michal, right? So it's not expired. So, and then 27 says, wherefore David arose and went, and he and his men, and slew of the Philistines 200 men. And David brought their foreskins, and they gave them in full tale to the king, that he might be the king's son-in-law. And Saul gave him Michal, his daughter, to wife. And Saul saw and knew that the Lord was with David, and that Michal, Saul's daughter, loved him. And he did not like that. Overall, he did not like that. He did not like that. So let's see where else we're going to go here. We're going to go ahead to Genesis 37. We're just building right now, guys. We're just building. But you see the thoughts inside in Saul's mind, right? All he saw was evil for David. That's it. That's all he saw. He saw evil for David, and the Lord just kept blessing him. Oh, 200? Okay, no problem. The foreskins of the Philistines. Okay. See, David was dealing honorably. Saul was not. In fact, he only gave his daughter to get him all caught up, get him distracted, and weaken him and all that, so the Philistines can overtake him. But we're going to move on. Genesis 37. Genesis 37. Genesis 37. And we're going to read 1 through 5, and we'll jump around a little bit. All right. 1 says this, and Jacob dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan. And these are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding a flock with his brethren. And the lad was with the sons of Bilhah and with the sons of Zilpah and his father's wives. And Joseph brought unto his father their evil report. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age. And he made him a coat of many colors. And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him, and could not speak peaceably unto him. You guys see this? Are you guys seeing what's going on here? And Joseph dreamed a dream, then he told it his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. You see what's happening here? Their thoughts was turning towards evil and jealousy, okay, and deception, evil surmising. So you guys getting it? This is the type of things that starts to happen in our minds. Let's go to 12. It said his brethren went to feed their father's flock in Shechem, right? Or Shechem. And Israel said unto Joseph, do not thy brethren feed the flock in Shechem? Come, and I will send thee unto them. And he said to him, here am I. And he said to him, go, I pray thee, see whether it be well with thy brethren, and well with the flocks, and bring me word again. So he sent him out of the vale of Hebron, and he came to Shechem, right? So we're starting to see the setup. We're starting to see how everything's starting to unfold. We're going to drop to 19, which reads, and they said one to another, behold, this dreamer cometh. Come now, therefore, and let us slay him and cast him into some pit, and we will say, some evil beast has devoured him, and we will see what will become of his dreams, right? So let's see if all this will, basically saying, well, let's see if all this will come to pass, because they knew the interpretation thereof of the dream. They knew it meant that, they were going to end up serving him, okay? So they got the message. They got the message, okay? Let's see where we stopped off. 21. And Reuben said unto them, shed no blood, but cast him into the pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand upon him, that he might rid him out of their hands, to deliver him to his father again. And it came to pass, when Joseph was come unto his brethren, that they stripped Joseph out of his coat of many colors that was on him. And they took him, and they cast him into a pit, and the pit was empty, there was no water in it. And they sat down to eat bread, and they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites came from Gilead with their camels, bearing spicery and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt. And Judah said unto his brethren, what profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? Come, and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother in our flesh. And his brethren were content. This is the evil surmisings that they were coming up with, right? It says, then there passed by Midianite merchantmen, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit, and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver, and they brought Joseph into Egypt. They had a whole lot of thoughts, right? Let's go ahead and kill him. No, let's not kill him. Let's put him in the pit. You know, they just trying to figure out what they want to do. Oh, here comes some Midianites. Let's just sell them to there. All these evil thoughts, all these evil surmisings, right? All these evil schemes. Sometimes that's what we do. As a people. Sometimes it's exactly what we do. We just start scheming things up. And we think about it long enough, we're going to act upon it. We're going to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, all I'm doing and what I'm trying to point out in this particular lesson is that we have got to be careful, and we have got to be mindful or cognizant of the thoughts that we have in our head, because it can lead to very evil things. And we have to understand that the Most High, even He understands our thoughts. He knows, He reads our thoughts. He knows what we're thinking. So it becomes all the more important that we should be mindful. Have a certain mindfulness about us. We need this, brothers and sisters. Because look at what it leads to. Look at what some of you may have already seen. Look at what some of you have already seen in the news and TikTok and all the social media outlets and things like that. I mean, heinous things. Someone thought about it first. And I'm not speaking of crimes of passion. I'm just talking about everything that's, premeditated they think about. Because more of those things happen than just simple crimes of passion or heat of the moment type things. Although that happens as well. But everything, every act, it's thought about. It's thought about. And then we act on it. We have got to mind our thoughts. Because that colors our life. It colors our outlook. It determines what our actions may be. Thought about long enough. Let us continue. All right, we are in Genesis, so we're going to go to Exodus. We're going to go to Exodus 22. Exodus 22. Exodus 22, first 4 verses. If a man shall steal an ox or a sheep and kill it or sell it, he shall restore 5 oxen for an ox, and 4 sheep for a sheep. If a thief be found breaking up and be smitten that he die, there shall be no blood be shed for him. If the sun be risen upon him, there shall be blood shed for him, even if he lives, right? For he should make full restitution. If he have nothing, then he shall be sold for his theft, right? And if the theft be certainly found in his hand alive, whether it be of ox or ass or sheep, he shall restore double, right? So these guys, you stealing, this is premeditated and stuff, stealing another man, basically stealing another man's property. And so here, this is just the law, this is restitution or whatever, of restoring back what was taken, what was stolen, what was unlawfully apprehended. So we understand that, the Most High, even knows, He knows, hey, this type of things, these things happen, but they shouldn't happen. And if they do happen, this is going to be the resolution, right? Which in this case will be restitution. We think about these things. These things, I mean, look at the punch. You got to restore fourfold. Okay? And he said, like, you know, if a guy break in and he die, right? If a guy break into your house and he die, hey, no more bloodshed. He got what's coming to him. Think about those things. But if he lives, there shall be bloodshed for him, for he should make full restitution. All right? And then it says what in 3, and if he have nothing, then he should be sold for his theft. Okay, you need to pay that back. Indentured servitude. You need to pay that back. You know, you guys know the expression. You know, if you can't do the crime, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. You should have thought about that before you did it. That's what these are the thoughts. This is what we're talking about right here. This is where it fits. This is where it fits, people. Okay, right there. So we're going to go ahead and go to the New Testament. Let's go to John. And we're going to go to John chapter 12. John chapter 12. And we're going to read the first, what we're going to do here? First 6 verses. John chapter 12, first 6 verses. All right. Let's see here. And guys, do me a favor when I say a scripture, just to help people follow along, especially in the live stream. The scriptures that are put there, it'll help people kind of follow it when they come in and they start watching. They can pick up where we are right now. So when I say a scripture, just go ahead and just kind of put it right there in the chat as you guys go along. Right, just put it there. And that would help those who just now joining, right? Kind of help them catch up, okay? And just so you guys know, we started in 1 Samuel. So with 1 Samuel in 18, and then we did Genesis 37. We jumped around a little bit. Then we did Exodus 22, read the first 4 verses, okay? And now we are going to do John 12 and read the first 6 verses, okay? And it says, then Jesus, 6 days before the Passover, came to Bethany, where Lazarus was, which had been dead, whom he raised from the dead. There they made him a supper, and Martha served. But Lazarus was one of them that sat at the table with him. Then took Mary a pound of ointment and spikenard, very costly, and anointed the feet of Jesus, and wiped his feet with her hair. The house was filled with the odor of the ointment. Then said one of the disciples, Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, which should betray him, why was not this ointment sold for 300 pence and given to the poor? This he said, not that he cared for the poor, but because he was a thief, and had the bag and bare what was put therein. Like, so he was kind of holding the money, right? He was kind of the treasurer, if you will. He didn't care, like I said, he didn't care nothing about the poor, nothing like that. He just said, it sounds good. He made it sound good. But his intention was to just, take the money, or skim off the top. That's really, so we already know about, this guy. We already know what was going down right there, right? Now, before I go to the next one, let's go over to Luke real quick. I want to go to Luke because I don't want to skip to Luke 10 and 30. Luke 10, we're going to read verse 30. But we're going to go back to John here just one second. I just want one verse. Let's see here. One verse, 10 and 30. Okay. 10 and 30, it says, and Jesus answering said, a certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell among the thieves, which stripped him of his raiment and wounded him and departed, leaving him half dead. Okay, so again, people with these wicked thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. They know somebody jumped you. They know they're gonna jump you. They have ill intent. They have ill thoughts. How can someone do this? How can someone think this way? These are the kind of things that they think of. They have this mindset that, hey, it's a come up. You're a come up. You're a lick. Whatever. What you mark. You're marked out because of the way they think. Survival of the fittest. Hey, I'm a hustler. I'm gonna get mine, kind of thing. The thoughts make us who we are. Because we think a certain way. So we're going to go John 13, first 2 verses. Now, because we were just reading, it was like 6 days before the Passover and everything, right? Now it says, now, before the feast of the Passover, when Jesus knew that his hour was come, that he should depart out of this world unto the Father, having loved his own which were in the world, he loved them unto the end. And supper being ended, the devil, having now put into the heart of Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, to betray him. So we already know what was about to happen. So now that spirit just kind of got in. And see, that's another thing with your thoughts. I have a lesson this way. 3 S's that we got to worry about in this world, right? When it comes to sin. Satan, self, and society, right? Satan, self, and society. And the problem is when we think on something negative, when we think on sin, when we think on mischief, when we think on deception, when we think on getting over on somebody, when we think on those type of things, it gives way to the enemy. It gives way to society. Now you can be swayed in the way of society. When you give a lot of time to these negative thought, of this wrong idea of thinking, then you give Satan a foothold. Yeah, we know we give Satan a foothold with anger and all that, but no, you give Satan a foothold. Because he's already going to tell you what you're thinking. He's always going to confirm what you're thinking. You have something negative, you're thinking something negative, he's going to come in your ear and he's going to confirm it. And then you're going to go along with it. Brothers and sisters, mind your thoughts. Let's go on over to Proverbs. Let's go to Proverbs. So, in Proverbs, we are going to go to 21. And when we go to 21, we're going to do read 25, 26. 25 says this: the desire of the slothful killed him, for his hands refused to labor. just lazy, right? And 26. He coveted greedily all the day long, but the righteous giveth and spareth not. He coveted greedily all day long, lazy and greedy at the same time. What a horrible combination, but that's how some people are. Some people lazy and greedy all at the same time. Maybe easy money or whatever the case. Quick ill-gotten gains. That's how people think. Can you imagine if they took their thoughts, they had the thoughts of of coming up easy, the quick lick, or you're taking advantage of somebody, taking someone else because you envy what they have or they have more than you or whatever the case may be. And they took that energy, instead of plotting and scheming, they took that energy and put it towards something positive, towards their own plan, their own business. You ever thought if they put that same energy towards trying to plan someone else's downfall, they take that energy and put it into a project of their own? It's just something to think about, brothers and sisters. Let's keep it moving. Let's go on over to Leviticus. Leviticus 24. Leviticus 24. We go over there. I am going to start at verse 10. 24, we're going to start at verse 10. All right, 24, verse 10. All right. And the sons of the Israelitish woman, whose father was an Egyptian, went out among the children of Israel. And this son of the Israelitish woman and a man of Israel strove together in the camp. And the Israelitish woman's son blasphemed the name of the Lord and cursed. And they brought him unto Moses, and his mother's name was Shelomith, the daughter of Debri of the tribe of Dan. And they put him in ward that the mind of the Lord might be showed them. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, bring forth him that had cursed without the camp, bring him on the outside of the camp, and let all that heard him lay their hands upon his head, and let all the congregation stone him. And they shall speak unto the children of Israel, saying, whosoever curseth his God shall bear his sins. I mean, it's gonna be the end of them. And he that blasphemeth the name of the Lord, he shall surely be put to death, and all the congregation shall certainly stone him, as well the stranger and he that is born in the land, when he blasphemeth the name of the Lord, shall be put to death. Because that was a serious offense. Should have thought about that first instead of being reckless. This is what happens. Should have thought about that, and now he was reckless with his mouth, and then there you have it. And it's over. And it's over. A lot of times people, they think they can get away with it, but they can't get away with it. And since now these days, we don't get our punishment immediately, we get a little more loose. Get a little more loose with our thoughts, and consequently we get a little more loose with our lips. All right. Let's keep going, brothers and sisters. I'm going to Job. Let's go on over to Job. And we get to Job. I want to go to Job, actually, right in the beginning, chapter 2. Okay, we're going to go to Job chapter 2. And we're going to read first 10 verses. Job chapter 2. Verse 1 says this. Again, there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them to present himself before the Lord. And the Lord said unto Satan, from hence comest thou, and where you come from? And Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And the Lord said unto Satan, as I consider my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil. And still he holdeth fast his integrity, although thou movest me against him to destroy him without cause. Even though you're trying, right? Even though you're trying to start static and get me to destroy him. And Satan answered the Lord and said, skin for skin, yea, all that a man has will he give for his life. But put forth thy hand now and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will curse thee to thy face. Right? Talking about this whole blasphemy thing, right? And the Lord said unto Satan, behold, he is in thine hand, but save his life. So went Satan forth from the presence of the Lord, and smote Job with sore boils from the sole of his foot unto his crown. And he took him a potsherd to scrape himself withal, and he sat down among the ashes. Then said his wife upon him, dost thou still retain thy integrity? Curse God and die. Like blaspheme against him and die, right? Say something against him and die. But he said unto her, thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. What? Shall we receive the good at the hand of God, and shall we not receive evil? And all this did not Job sin with his lips. Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. He didn't even think like that. His thoughts was, you know what? The Most High blessed me and everything, and I take that, I accept that. So if he punishes me, shouldn't I accept that too? Now we know it's Satan doing this, because a lot of times we do that ourselves too. We blame Yah for something he didn't do, right? Something he may be allowing. He may be allowing, like he allowed Satan to do this, but he may not be directly doing. He may be doing it indirectly, but a lot of times he says, well, why God? That kind of thing. You see? So it's like this. Job, he just didn't think that way. He's like, nah. You still believe in God? You still believe in your God? Look at what's happening to you. You took sick for nothing, and you been righteous and just and devout and all this other stuff, and look what happens. God let this happen to you. And again, let calamity strike one of us. Let hard times hit a little too hard for one of us. How soon will our thoughts change? How soon will we feel some type of way towards the Most High? Be careful and mind your thoughts. Let's go over to Deuteronomy. And we're going to go to Deuteronomy. We're going to hit 15. 15. We're going to do 7. Deuteronomy 15. 7 says this. If there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren within any of thy gates in thy land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thine heart, nor shut thy hand from thy poor brother. But thou shalt open thy hand wide unto him, and shalt surely lend him sufficient for his need, in that which he wanted, like according to what he needs. Beware that there be not a thought in thy wicked heart. I'm going to read that again. Beware that there be not a thought in thy wicked heart, saying, the 7th year, the year of release, is at hand, and thy eye be evil against thy poor brother, and thou givest him not, and he cry unto the Lord against thee, and it be sin unto thee. If you do it, okay, it's like, okay, wait a minute. If I do for this guy, in a year release is coming up, he's not gonna pay me back, and 2, he doesn't even have to pay me back. It's a law that he don't have to. It's the year of release. All debts are cleared. So I'm not giving him anything. And this is what this particular passage is speaking against, right? This is what it's speaking against. So what does it say in verse 10? It says here, thou shalt surely give him, and thy heart shall not be grieved when thou givest unto him, because that for this thing the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all thy works, and in all that thou puttest thy hand unto. For the poor shall never cease out of the land. Therefore I command thee, saying, thou shalt open thine hand wide unto thy brother, to thy poor, and to thy needy in thy land. The poor will always be with you. It will never cease. There's always going to be someone who's going to have less than you. And it's incumbent upon us to help them. Help them. Someone who's actually in need. Yeah, there was some charlatans out there and all that. He's not speaking of that. He's just talking about your poor brother. Someone who's actually in need. Okay? Not the ones who's not really in need, but they're still trying to swindle you for money. Okay? So you're going to need some discernment on that one. All right, so we're going to go over to Proverbs. We're going to go over Proverbs. Let's see here. 24. And when we get to Proverbs 24, just want one verse, which is verse 8. He that what devises to do evil shall be called a mischievous person. When you plot evil, you're going to be called a mischievous person. And plotting means you're thinking about it. Coming up with a grand plan of how you're going to come up. Do you really want to be identified as that type of person in the presence of the Most High? It's like Judas Iscariot, he's identified as, well, he's a thief, so, you know. Oh, he's a traitor, so. I mean, you want to be known as that? You want that laid at your charge in the day of judgment? That's what you want to answer for? Let's keep it moving. Let's go on over to Romans. Let's go to the New Testament. Let's go on over to Romans. Okay, so Romans, let's see, chapter 1. And when I get to Romans and we're reading chapter 1, we're going to start at 24. All right, so we're going to start at 24, which reads, wherefore God also gave them up to what? Uncleanness through the lust of their what? Own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves, giving up the lust of their own. We got a lot of that today, brothers and sisters. A lot of that. Who changed the truth of God into a lie and worship and serve the creator more than creature more than the creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. Now, we have a lot of that with this, how you identify. Right? Like how it's like What you are biologically isn't what you are. It's how you identify. Okay? Wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, their own imaginations. This is what they want. They want to be whatever they want to be. Whatever they deem themselves to be. So there's a lot of self-worship. Doesn't matter what it doesn't matter what Yah says. It doesn't matter what biology says. It doesn't matter what science says. Doesn't matter what your chromosomes are. That does not matter. Okay? Giving them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their what? Own bodies between themselves. Now I know a lot of people, they go here and they go to sexual acts and things like that. I get it, but does it not fit the other thing too? Because they're willing to go do drastic changes, right? They're willing to do that. Okay? And they worship the creature rather than the creator, because it's about how you feel. It's about how you feel, how you think. I think I'm XYZ today. That's how I feel. That's how I identify. Right? So they worship themselves. So what happens in 26? For this cause God gave them up unto vile affections. Vile affections. Now I know it goes into the rainbow community. I know it goes to the alphabet community, but does it not, this gender identity, does it not fit? At least fits, right? Okay. For vile affections, for even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. And what else happened? And likewise, also the men, leaving the natural use of a woman, burned in their lusts one toward another, men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves the recompense of their error, which was meet, which was suitable, which was exactly what happened, guys. We're gonna keep on reading, but you see now I know it's going into the LGBT and all that. I get it, but you see what I'm saying? You see what's happening here? It's all together, whether it be gender identity or LGBT. It's all lumped together because they're all fighting they're on the same side. Okay, they're all on the same side. So 28. And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, because they throw that out when it flies in the face of their presupposition, God gave them over to a reprobate mind. They're not going to change their mind, brothers and sisters. You can just forget it. And I know this lesson, this can get the channel taken down if I talk too passionately about it. Okay, this can get the whole channel shake down. But look at what's happening. God gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient, the things they're not supposed to do, right? Being filled with all what? Unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whisperers, backbiters, haters of God, certainly, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things. Yeah, you want to go to the school and put all this on children now. It's not enough for you to believe that. That's not enough. Let's go get the children too. Let's go poison their mind. And see, your thoughts. It's the thing. It's minded. The thoughts in your mind. Think about that for a second. Your eyes are telling you what you see. You see an Adam's apple. You see a beard. You see, you hear the deep voice. You see the big hands. You see all this other stuff. So logically, it's telling you, okay, well, this is a man. Well, except there is a wig, there's eyelashes, there's a dress, and all that. And this person is telling you, I am a woman. And now your speech has to be legislated. So now you have to say it. Now again, they can call themselves whatever they want to call themselves. That's fine. Whatever you want to call it, you can identify as a rhinoceros for all I care, right? But now they want you. They want to legislate your speech and tell you, oh, no. I don't care what your lying eyes are telling you. I don't care what chromosomes are telling you. No. You refer to me by what I tell you. Forget your lying eyes. You see how it just doesn't make sense? Like I said, you can call yourself whatever you want to call yourself. You can be delusional all you want. I don't care. But don't insist on me being delusional. "30, backbiters, haters of God, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedience to parents, without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful." Have you seen these people rally? Unmerciful. "Who knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them." Now, I'm just reading, but of course, this can be taken out of context and it can be misconstrued or twisted to be hate speech. I'm just reading what's being said here. And I'm not telling any of you guys to hate anybody or go do anything. Don't break any laws. Don't do anything. Live your life. Obey Yah. That's it. I'm not telling you to go hate anyone. But just this passage alone can be taken as hate speech. Why do you think they're not going to be friends with the Bible? Why do you think they're going to be like, haters of God? They're not going to like that. Because they know where the Most High stands on this. We know where Abba Father, where he stands on this. We know where Yeshua HaMashiach stands on this. We know. Let's keep it going. So, we're still in Romans, but now we're going to go 16. Chapter 16. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to do 16, 17, and 18. Verse 17 and 18. So, let's go to chapter 16. And let's see here. 17 and 18. And he says this: "I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them. For they that are such serve not our Lord Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, but their own belly, and by good works and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple." Because that's exactly what they will do. People, and I'm just saying evil people in general, just evil people. Some people have wicked ways and they recruit. They recruit. They get so bogged down in these evil thoughts, and they just recruit. They want more people believing in their rhetoric. And they want to plant that seed, put it in your heart. Now we know that it's principalities in higher places that's doing it, but it's certainly effective, is it not? Let us continue. Let us continue. 1 Corinthians. And when we get to 1 Corinthians, we're going to go chapter 3. Let's read starting at 18. It says, let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seemeth to be wise in this world, let him become a fool, that he may be wise. Don't think you know everything, right? 19. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God, for it is written, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness, right? He turned all that, Most High turned all that around. And again, the Lord knoweth the thoughts of the wise, that they are vain. You think you know everything. I'm sorry, like atheists, they just think that they worship at the altar of their intellect. And they talking about evidence and all this other stuff, which again, to me personally, they have more faith than you and I. They really do. They believe in things that they can't prove. They believe in things that they accuse you of. Oh, it's just faith. Well, we admit we do have to have faith. It's part of our religion, right? It's part of that. And I know we don't do religion, but you guys get what I'm saying. And they have to believe in Big Bang. No cause. They have to believe that. No cause. Didn't see it. They didn't see it. They didn't see it. They witnessed it. Can't be duplicated. None of that. Same thing they claim of what we believe in the Most High. The same thing they're doing. And yet they still believe that. They still believe something came out of nothing. Right? So I'm not going to get in the whole, intelligent design and, and causality. I'm not going to get into all that right now. That's not this type of lesson. But do you see what I'm saying? The same thing. What they believe in, they cannot see it. They cannot prove it. None of that. They believe something came out of nothing. And they say, oh, well, you can't see your God. You can't talk to, you can't, none of that. But, okay. One, the evidence that we will present, you will reject anyway. But even if we go with that thought, that's the same thing you're going with. You got nothing. We say, prove that happened. Prove that it happened. We'll be in the same boat. Prove that this Big Bang, that something came out of nothing. Prove that happened. Even though, even in science, it's proven that something doesn't come from nothing. If so, what caused it? So they're in a bit of a quandary. But so my point is, they fancy themselves very wise, very intellectual. Let's get it going, brothers and sisters. Ecclesiastes. And when we go there, I'm just gonna actually only want one verse. Ecclesiastes 10. And going to read what we have here. Ecclesiastes 10, and we're gonna read verse 20. Ecclesiastes 10, verse 20. It says, curse not the king, no, not in thy thought, not even in your thought, and curse not the rich in thy bedchamber. For a bird of the air shall carry the voice, and that which has wings shall tell the matter. Okay, it will get, basically it'll get out, right? Like rumors or whatever, it'll get out, right? Not in their bedchamber. You know how you and your spouse, y'all have pillow talk and all that, stuff like that. But it'll get out. In this day and age, social media, right? What goes on social media stays on social media. So just watch it, right? Just watch it. Okay, but only curse not even in your thoughts. Not even in your thoughts. Not even in your thoughts. Okay? So where are we going now? We're going to go back to Matthew, if you will. Where are we here? Matthew. There we go. So we're going to go to Matthew, and we're going to go to chapter 5 in Matthew. Okay? Matthew chapter 5, and we're going to go to 27. Read 27 and 28. It says, you have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you that whosoever looketh at a woman to lust after her has committed adultery with her already in his heart. Look at what he's saying, in his heart. He's saying, mind your thoughts. Don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. What comes to mind is David on his rooftop watching Bathsheba. He thought about it. Okay? Let's go on over to Luke 6. Luke chapter 6, starting at verse 6. Luke chapter 6, starting at verse 6. Okay, and we're going to read 6 through 11. And it says, and it came to pass also on another Sabbath that he entered into the synagogue and taught. And there was a man whose right hand was withered. And the scribes and Pharisees watched him, whether he would heal on the Sabbath day, that they might find an accusation against him. But he knew their thoughts. He knew their thoughts and said to the man which had the withered hand, rise up and stand forth in the midst. And he rose and he stood forth. Then said Jesus unto them, I will ask you one thing. Is it lawful on the Sabbath days to do good or to do evil, to save life or destroy it? So he's just asking him. And looking around, round about upon them all, he said unto the man, stretch forth thy hand. And he did so. And his hand was restored whole as the other. So he did heal him, right? And they were filled with madness and communed one with another what they might do to Jesus, right? They're trying to figure out a way to get him caught. Trying to get him. Look at he just healed right in front of us. He just healed. He healed this man. Just plotting, just thinking evil constantly. Just thinking evil constantly. It's kind of like that in Django, Samuel Jackson's character or whatever. No matter what was going on, he was mad against, just mad, sourpuss the entire time, right? No matter what. And against his own people, no less, right? So we're going to move on. Okay, we just did Luke 6. We're going to do Matthew 16. Matthew 16. And we're going to start at 21. Okay, Matthew 16. We're going to do 21 to 23. 21 says this. From that time forth, Jesus began to show unto his disciples how that he must go unto Jerusalem and suffer many things of the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed and be raised again the third day. Then Peter took him and began to rebuke him, saying, Be it far from thee, Lord, this shall not be unto thee. But he turned and said unto Peter, Get thee behind me, Satan. Thou art an offense unto me, for thou savorest not the things that be of God, but those that be of men. Right? His own thoughts, his personal, right? See, Christ knew the mission. He knew what he was there for. He knew what Abba Yah wanted of him. Peter didn't, and Peter spoke of his own mind. Oh no, don't let anything bad happen to you. No, that's not going to happen. He's trying to rebuke what Christ said, and Yeshua turned around and rebuked him for what he was saying. You got your wrong thoughts, man. You got this whole selfish thing. Me being with you right now, that's nothing compared to me being sacrificing what I'm doing for all the people. Me being here with you right now, yeah, it's a benefit to you right now like this. But I'm trying to benefit more than just you and the disciples. Let's keep it going. So, we're in Matthew 16. Let's go to Jeremiah 17. Let's go to Jeremiah 17. And if you guys are with me, 100 in the chat, please. 100 in the chat, please, if you're still with me. Okay, so Jeremiah, we're going to go 17. I'm going to start at 5. Okay, and 5 says this. Thus says the Lord, Cursed be the man that trusted in man, and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departed from the Lord. For he shall be like the heath in the desert, and shall not see when good cometh, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, in a salt land, and not inhabit it. Right? So he's basically bad things are going to happen to him if you take your eye off the ball. If you stop focusing on the Most High, if you stop focusing on Him, it's not going to work out too well for you. Right? Let's jump around. We're going to go to 9 real quick. We're going to do 9 and 10. 9 says, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? I, the Lord, search the heart, and I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doings. So it matters what you think, and it matters what you do, because what you think manifests into what you do. It manifests into action. Okay, let's just keep that in mind. It manifests into action. Manifests in action. What you thinking, we move in the direction of our dominant thoughts. So your dominant thoughts towards evil, then eventually you're going to do evil. Okay? Proverbs 21. Let's go to Proverbs 21. And Proverbs 21. And when we get to Proverbs 21, I'm going to read one verse. Proverbs 21. We're going to go to one verse. 21 and 27. The sacrifice of the wicked is abomination. How much more when he bringeth it with a wicked mind? Ho, 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 ho. It's bad if you do it. Okay, it's bad enough if you do it. But then it's much worse when you have a wicked mind because it's premeditated. Because it's who you are. It's not a mistake. Let's look at this one more time. Okay, 27. The sacrifice of the wicked is abomination, and how much more when he bringeth it with a wicked mind. Oh, did you guys catch that? Did you guys get that? You with me on that? Did you catch it? That, man. Thoughts are important. Mind your thoughts. Let's go to our last two places. Let's go to Isaiah real quick. We'll go to our last two places and close out. Isaiah 55. Let's look at that real quick. Last two places. All right, last two places. So Isaiah 55, and I'm going to read 6 through 8. It says what? Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his what? Thoughts. And let him return unto the Lord, and he will have mercy upon him, and to our God, for he will abundantly pardon. Sounds like something we need, correct? What? For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are my ways your ways, my ways, says the Lord. For my thoughts are not your thoughts. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. Don't even think that way. This is what the Most High is saying. Don't even think that way. Let's go to our last place, 2 Corinthians, real quick. And we'll close this thing out. 2 Corinthians chapter 10. Second Corinthians chapter 10. Okay, we're going to read the first 5 verses. Okay, 2 Corinthians chapter 10. And verse 1 says this: Now I, Paul, beseech you by the meekness and gentleness of Christ, who in presence am base among you, but being absent am bold toward you. But I beseech you that I may not be bold when I am present with that confidence wherewith I think to be bold against some, which think of us as if we again walked according to the flesh. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. Our mind. Casting down what? Imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity what? Every thought to the obedience of Christ. Our thoughts are important. What we think, how we think, what we think upon is super important. I cannot stress the gravity of it. Brothers and sisters, I hope someone has been edified with this lesson. This has been the Thoughts of the Mind, Part 2. So until next time, search the scriptures and prove all things. Shalom, Israel.